Well, hey guys, welcome to the studio. Today, Universal Audio, the new Spark feature, which allows their plugins to be used by mere mortals without having to buy into their hardware. But did they screw this up? Let's take a look at it. Well, we know a few things about Universal Audio. Their interfaces, most known as the Apollo series of interfaces, highly praised, very clean, but their main gig has always been they have room in their interfaces for their plugins. And these are very specific plugins called UA plugins. You can't just put your own VSTs in it. You have to use theirs. Now, up to this point, people have really thought that these plugins were very high quality, especially their Neve processing, especially their 1176 compressors. But we see a lot of these same processors were very, very similar from different manufacturers made as VSTs. These are not the type of plugins that go into a device like an Apollo. Well, the news just broke. Now, you don't need any of their hardware anymore. You can start using these famous UA plugins as plugins in your DAW. This is going to be a subscription-based plan. You're looking about $20 a month to get into this realm. But is it worth it? I have two main considerations with this. First off, I think if anybody is driven to use UA plugins, they probably already have some sort of device like an Apollo. So what the company just did is they just made it so the people who went out and paid a premium price for their hardware, really just so that they could use these plugins, is now finding they never really had to buy that hardware. Now, if I had just dumped a bunch of money into an Apollo interface, maybe a quad or something like that, I would feel a little bit incensed by that I spent this premium amount of money to get a feature that I didn't need to buy that hardware to get that feature. And here's my other issue. Universal Audio is not the only game in town when it comes to quality plugins. I personally run Native Instruments. There's other great stuff from IK Multimedia, though I don't really trust that company as much, and I know that Native Instruments has had some issues with customer support, but they came through in the end, and they're a decent company, and their product is fantastic. I also use plugins from Waves, and Isotope, and a few other companies, and so the question that I'm left with is this: why? As a non-Apollo user, why would I get involved with this? I'm pretty happy with the plugins that I have, and they could potentially make an argument maybe their stuff is better than mine. I've used the Apollo interface with native UA plugins, and I found it actually kind of limiting. They can only store a very limited amount of their plugins in the device. And the other issue is that anything that you record tracks with those plugins on it, and you really can't go back after the fact and change the settings. You have to kind of guess, what do you want this track to do before you record it, because then you're stuck with it. Interfaces that have built-in processing don't have to be crazy money. You guys watch this channel, you know I run a Behringer XR18 in here. 18 inputs, 6 auxiliary outputs, and it's got gate, compression, and EQ on every single channel. And I can even decide whether I want the recorded track to have that processing on it, or whether I just want to monitor it that way and track it while it's dry. Now, here's where I see the screw up. If you're someone like me who does not buy into the Universal Audio universe, I don't have an Apollo, I'm looking at this new offering of $20 a month, and I can use their brand of plugins to essentially cover bases that I already have covered, from plugins that I actually own and don't have to continually pay to use. The flip side of the coin is, what if you're already in the UA universe? What if you're already using their devices? I think you just got sold out. Personally, maybe they can make this work. Personally, I just don't see how that's possible. It seems to me like they took everybody that's either in their camp or not in their camp and just kind of alienated everybody. Maybe there's an upside to this. Tell me in the comments what you think. Maybe I'm wrong. Visit us in our Facebook group, Recording Tips. And while you're here, click on subscribe. The more subscribers we have in this channel, the easier it is for us to lure experts in and have them weigh in on our topics. Thank you. Well, we got a lot of work to do. Let's get to it.